Welcome to the midweek preview, and we've had a name change.
Have we?
Well, the park, it's RacingRant Park during the day, but it's like those sponsorships that slip over. It's called Wino Park at night.
Oh, Wino Park. Well, we are correct there yet again, because I do have a glass of wine with me, and we are celebrating yet again too, Mark, aren't we?
I know, Wyong today was a fairly solid appearance, and that leads us into a, I don't know if I'm totally struck on this card at Warwick Farm tomorrow. Just waiting for that plane to go past.
Well, I'll say something then, because I think it's a tough card tomorrow. I'm still looking forward to it, obviously, because we always look forward to Metropolitan Racing, but maybe the second part of the show, I think, will be more interesting as far as things we've found are concerned.
And obviously, look, scratchings will play a major part in the first half of the card. We've got multiple wallers. The rail's out 3 metres. There will be a little bit of rain before the meeting, which may have as little effect as Saturday morning had, or a little bit more effect, but that's pretty much, there's not going to be a lot of rain, and that's all we're going to get leading into the weekend. So Warwick Farm, stock standard. I mean, the rail out 3 shouldn't make too much difference. You basically want to be off the fence, and you'd prefer to draw mid to wide. Race 1 is a 3-year-old over 1,600 metres, probably likely to have 4 runners in it. At the moment, High Mist is $1.55, Veladero is $5, Bridle Lane 7, Uber Tuber 11, and Handed In is $34. Now the interesting thing, well, one of the interesting things about this race is that we've got High Mist, obviously coming back from a Saturday quality race, and we've got 4 other last start winners, so despite the fact that it's a small field, there is at least something there. And the speed looks likely to be set by Bridle Lane, who led all the way in a slowly run race at Goulburn last time. Uber Tuber up from 1,200, racing on his home track for the first time, will posse up. At High Mist on the back of the back of the speed there, with Veladero on his inside, and Handed In. We'll see them all. Anything to say?
Does High Mist run in this race? I think it probably runs in the other one, doesn't it? I prefer it to run in the other one.
Gee, I just don't know. I mean, obviously Waller's got 2 decent chances in both of the races.
Yep.
So, I mean, we could be guided by the fact that Bowman's on in the other race, but doesn't matter. Look, I would want to say that Veladero has a small chance in this race, and other than that, I wouldn't consider it.
I want High Mist to be scratched from this race, and then obviously, if he's scratched, there's only 2 chances in the race, which are Veladero and Bridle Lane. It's 1,600 metres, so it's getting to the end of my.
Yeah, I know, but because you're so enthusiastic when you start the card, it's
and I've been told I have to have an opinion. So I would suggest that the only one that's won over the 1,600 metres before, and I know at last start it was actually at Goulburn, is Bridle Lane. So what price did you say it was at the moment?
It's $7.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you know, if the $1.55 shot's scratched, then you're just going to get killed by reduction. So I'll stay out. What price would we be willing to back High Mist at in this race?
Well, I said $1.80. I mean, he has been up for a while, you know.
6 start, first prep.
Yeah, some will argue it's not his first prep, but
yeah,
depends on how you look at it.
I'm going to be against High Mist in both the races, just purely because it's going to hold such a significant percentage of the market.
Perceived as unlucky last time.
Another pearl of Mark's there. Perception of being unlucky is overrated by the market, so I can't really have a solid opinion in this race, Mark.
But I mean, Lee, look, he's into a mile race, 11 days off that run. I mean, he's clearly quite well placed. I didn't particularly like Bridle Lane. I considered Veladero was a horse with some scope, and that's all I'd be prepared to say about the race.
Yep.
Race 2 is a fillies maiden over 1,400 metres, and Savannah is our favourite at $3.30. Sparkle is $4.20 for James McDonald, $4.80 Cross Stitch, a Waller runner, $5 Pirapala, $9.50 Zen Alicious, 20s Bar, that's 21 Red Heat is the next pick. And the Waterhouse runners will obviously be in the vanguard here, both of them up from 1,100 to 1,400. I speak of Sparkle and Let's Celebrate. Savan should be in a perfect position. I had Zenalicious handy, and I guess Cross Stitch can be midfield here. A couple of horses that are pretty tight in the market that I would have to oppose at those prices. Sparkle went all right the other day, but it's 11 up to 14. It wasn't, and short course trials before that, Gordo.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a reverse Pearl of mine. It had 700 metre trials, then its first up start. So I'm saying now it's primed.
Right, but it's
I don't actually have it on top.
Short, 1100, 1400?
Too much. Yeah, I'm with you. That's why I haven't found it on top. For me, number one, Savan. I know we've talked about that previous race that it ran in town as being quite an icky race. It was in the wrong part of the track. It did cop a bit of a bumping jewel back on the inside there. And when I first looked at it, I thought I'm not going to find Savan strongly, but the more I looked at this race,
you were trying to keep yourself away, were you?
I was trying to keep myself away, and I've
So is that a bias? That's a bias, isn't it?
No, this is what a good bias it is, actually, because I was trying to keep myself away, and I ended up stamping it moral. I think this thing wins tomorrow.
Well, it was 1100 up to 1400. It returns to the scene of its run.
At 1400, see, it's just beautiful, isn't it? 1100 to 1400, second start, is too much, but now it's 1400 again. I think it's primed. I think it wins the race. Question mark on Sparkle, just because of what we've previously talked about.
Right. So you're saying Sparkle's got talent, because I mean you're saying it's primed, but I mean it needs the other bit of the equation as well.
Well, with Lightly Race, we don't really know. I'm suggesting that What price is Sparkle at the moment?
$4.20.
And what price is Savan?
$3.30.
The $3.30 is massive.
Yes, look, I'm inclined to agree. The other thing in the market that I thought was worth mentioning was the fact that Pirapala debuted in a shocking race at Wyong and had the track to suit, and turns up here at $5 from gate one. I would think that's
my thing. I'm giving none to cross stitch as well. So you get gapped by mediocre horses. You don't beat horses that have come out of Saturday races like Savan has. So
but Zenalicious is your line. She's run around in a similar race last week. Cross Stitch managed to round her up at her first start.
Yeah, did have a second look at Zenalicious, and I have no interest in it.
Okay, that's fair enough for the 3-year-old fillies race. Certainly Savan gets a race to suit tomorrow. Then we see the male equivalent, which is double the field size, and Drachenfels at his third start, and his first start in town is $2.30. We've got some accompaniment here. And next pick in the market is...
We can't get away from the lawnmowers, can we? This is a far quieter lawnmower. So, you go.
These gents are trying to make some Hollywood history.
Yeah, or just some Hollywood maybe. Drachenfels $2.30. Military Machine, Earth is second pick at $9. Military Machine at $10. Apollo at $12, coming through at $15. Tivoli Street 13, Hollywood Mo at 15, $21 show 'em. It's all a very bunched.
Pace is important here, Mark. So
but also Waller's got pull 2 or 3 out of here.
Yeah.
So look, I haven't got them going super quick. Military Machine, I imagine, will be ridden more conservatively than he was at Wyong. And that was a slowly run race. Anyway, look, Drachenfels has got the blinkers on. I think he'll be part of the van.
Yep.
Even though that they may not wish to be that way. Mandalise will be on the speed. Perhaps Tivoli Street up to the 1400 tomorrow from a wide gate, maybe more forward. There's just bits and pieces here. The favourite has been a horse of intense focus in his 2 runs to date. He was very short odds on a Saturday at Kembla, and got beaten by subsequent winner, but was perhaps just a touch hollow. And then, what do you say about his run at Wyong?
I'm fine with both his runs. I'm giving him a break for both of them. That one at Wyong with defective Hollywood Mo, maybe you could take that as just
Detective is one at Flemington since.
Yeah, I know, but Hollywood Mo 1.8 lengths beating Hollywood Mo, maybe that can be a negative. Look, for me, I've ended up stamping it as a good chance in the race. I think of the race horses, Drachenfels is clearly the best, and other than that, I think Military Machine, that was too disappointing a run last start, so I've got to pen that. And so I'm looking at the first starters, and then when I looked at all the trials of the first starters, I couldn't see any of them that actually really jumped off the page at me. So more by a process of elimination, I clearly have Drachenfels on top. But when Waller scratches his horses, what price does this end up being? You know?
Yeah, look, I'd say he'll scratch at least two of them. He's got Apollo, he's got Coming Through, he's got 8 Earth, he's got 8 Over, and he's got Tivoli Street. What about Tivoli Street, who was spruiked heavily in the race won by Glen All, and then eventually...
I had a saver on it. No, not good enough.
Drachenfels certainly gets another chance here. I think Military Machine, who's third up tomorrow and raced very flat the other day, can do a lot better, and I would consider him. And number 5, Potent Force, is a horse of interest to me because he's been gelded. He's a Cummings horse that had a good hit out in a recent trial and debuted in a bodgy stakes race, but nonetheless
still a stakes race. Yeah, I tried to give a second look at those trials, but trials just weren't good enough. But I mean, of the first starters that I was interested in, or not first starters, or those coming off a spell, was Apollo, Coming Through, and Potent Force. And the more I looked at the race, I just thought Drachenfels wins this race.
Yes,
but
well, look,
yet again, I'm not going to bet early. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to take any red odds. I'm looking to hopefully maybe with the scratchings of the Waller horses get around like a $2.20, $2.30 after scratchings, and then at that price, I think it's a bet.
Okay, that's the end of the maidens for the day. We come to the next mile race, which is benchmark 67. We've already lost She Brings, who's $8 in the markets, but tailed out at Wyong today, so clearly won't be running tomorrow. And the betting sees High Mist. This is his other appearance for the day, $1.90. Pianissimo, his stablemate, at $4. And next pick is Attaboy Ross at $21. It's pretty scuzzy outside the 2 picks, Gord.
Yep.
We do have a leader here. It's called Sunjean for his girl rider. And Pianissimo posied right up the other day with great success. High Mist really shouldn't be too far away because there's some scrubbers here.
I hope High Mist runs in this race. That'll be the only occasion in which I might entertain a bet, which would be on Pianissimo. We've talked about the question marks of High Mist, 1600, six start first prep. There's some question marks there. If it doesn't run in the race, I think Pianissimo will be too short of back. So I'm hoping High Mist runs here so that we get, what did you say, $4 Pianissimo or something like that?
Yeah, seems generous.
But I'm not excited about the race.
Well, it's just leaving you on tenterhooks really. I marked them equal, Pianissimo and High Mist, and there's just nothing to make of the others. Attaboy Ross loses blinkers, and he's had his blinkers on ever since his second start in a race. That's the only thing I would suggest is of interest, and not really. He's been bumbling around for a long time. Silem Road obviously won his maiden the other day, ridden handy. It was just a maiden, and he was long odds. So that's race 4. That's halfway through the program. We'll call a halt and come back with the legs of the quaddie from Warwick Farm tomorrow.